Hi, I'm Linda, and this is No Frills ASMR. So, I have a few things here I just wanted to share with you and discuss a little bit. I was gone, you may have noticed, for a little while because my uncle died, and I helped with the estate sale at his house and brought back a few things and some books to look at. And so I'll be doing some future videos with other things that I have that I thought would be fun to share. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about a couple of pottery pieces that my sons wanted to have. And just kind of the history for me. So when I lived in Arizona, I used to live in Mesa, Arizona. And my uncle would come out to visit. And it was funny because I had forgotten all about this book. And I even forgot about it when I grabbed it up from his house. I kind of just took a few things I thought looked interesting. And then the minute I opened it up, I was like, oh my gosh, I remember this. And it's so like old-fashioned in a way, because what this is a trading post guidebook. Where to find the trading post, galleries, auctions, artists, and museums of the Four Corners region. And they have a list here of payment options that different places will allow you to use, MasterCard, Visa, whatever. But I remember, and look at this, we used it so much as like Polymer. He would fly out to Arizona, and we would look up where we wanted to go in this book. And you couldn't, there was no internet, none of that. So you would, hold on, I'm pretty sure there's like maps here, hold on. Oh my goodness, hold on. I know there is. I remember it so clearly. Well, basically, you'd go to an area like the bluff and surrounding areas. And so we'd get our map out and we'd find out. See, these don't even have addresses. It's P.O. Box 263. And then it tells you 1 mile south of town, west of Highway 191. So you just get a map out and find out where Blanding, Utah is. And then once you get there, you'd go to the local gas station and say, are you familiar with this? And then you'd kind of follow them in order because the book sort of put them in order. I think these, it looks like they're part of the Navajo Nation. And I mean, we mostly stayed in Arizona, New Mexico. Like, definitely we went out to Tuba City. But it was such a different time, you know. You just go driving, and then sometimes you get there and they're closed down or not open that day. It's funny to think. It's like a good part of my life was like that, but now it's hard to imagine it. Isn't that weird? But Navajo Arts and Crafts Enterprise, and it tells you what kind of credit cards you can use. That there's one step and gravel to get inside. And then it tells you what they carry, including Navajo rugs. You will find Navajo and Hopi music cassettes, Pendletons, cradle boards, Navajo, Hopi, and Zuni jewelry, and a changing assortment of arts and crafts. And one of my uncle's favorite things was finding like a good place to eat lunch. So we'd always go to Waffle House for breakfast, go out, hit as many of these as we could, and then usually try to find like a Mexican restaurant for lunch. Look at this. Here's the main sales room of Hopi House, 1905. Photograph courtesy of Grand Canyon National Park. And these were some of these places, at least in the 90s, they almost looked the same as that. So this was because my uncle, he started out purchasing some Kachina dolls, and he bought like one or two. And then he bought another and another and another. And then he realized Kachinas weren't his favorite thing. And then he got really into rugs for a while. And he bought a lot of different Navajo rugs. Like wool. Like, I even wondered, this one was just sitting in his house. And with a bunch that were like, brand new, or like table runners, not very interesting. But this rug here, I think this would have been a sample that like somebody would carry to show what they can make in a bigger size. And I think this one looks really old. I haven't been able to figure out anything about it. But it was odd because he had, before he died, because he knew he was dying, he had taken almost all of his Southwest collection and auctioned it off because he realized it was too much for any of us to deal with, because it was like, I don't know, 500 pieces or something. But there were a few things that we found in the back of closets, or like this was just with a bunch of other stuff. But as soon as I spotted it, I was like, this looks different. This looks better. So I haven't researched that yet. But anyway, so that's the Trading Post Guide. And then here's a collection of Southwest pottery. I really only took this book because one of my cousins picked a piece of pottery, because we kind of sent pictures and had everybody pick something they'd like to keep as a, memento. And one of my cousins picked one that looked very much like this. And I used to know during the 90s what the different types of pottery were, because I traveled around with my uncle. But over time I'd forgotten. But it's a wedding vase. So these ones that have like two necks connected by a handle, they're called a wedding vase. So I kind of took this to give her, but then I didn't put it with her stuff, so I'll have to do that. But anyway, and this is smoking paraphernalia, baskets, moccasins, figurines, storytellers. That's when they have like the woman with all the little dolls on her. You see those a lot out west. I don't even know how to say that word. Nacamientos? I don't know. Rain gods and other deities. Bears. I like the bears. I always love a bear. Beast, wild and mythical. Farm animals. Look at that. They have actual wool. I've never seen that. Poultry. Owls. I love owls. Frogs and turtles. Creepy crawlies. Water world. Tiny things. That's cute. Poster paint and beyond. Unborn collections. Anyway, so that's that. But my father-in-law, so he's not in any way related to my uncle, he's on my husband's side. He would come out to visit us when we lived in Arizona. And he bought some Southwest items, like these two little pieces of pottery, which I kept. And he had some other pieces that were actually probably more, I don't know, valuable or something. I don't know. But I kind of accidentally sold them at the estate sale for his house. We ran all the estate sales for these people. But these two I grabbed up just because they made me think of him, because I remember buying them, being with him. And I could be wrong. I'm no expert. But I feel like these are more like gift shop quality pottery. They are Navajo, they say right on them. This one says it's City, Navajo, and this says Val King. So I could be totally wrong. But I felt like every gift shop you went in Arizona has very similar pieces of pottery like this. They're very Southwest. And the jewelry that I have on, my mother-in-law bought in Arizona from gift shops. So anyway, there's that. And I remember one time with my dad, who is not like an art connoisseur really. We were at one of these gift shops, and they must have had 90 pieces of pottery that were identical, like almost to this. And if you look, see how each little pattern is perfectly repeated? And so my dad says to the person working there, this is all done with a machine that's doing that. Not knowing that that could be offensive if an artist did it. And they said, no, it's done by hand. And he's like, it's too perfect. It's done by a machine. And my mom like smacks him across the, his back. It's like, and so then we get in the car. My mom's like, you shouldn't have said that. That's so rude to the artist. But actually, ever since then, I have thought, I think he's right. I think it is. Or at least they had some kind of, I don't know, something that repeats the pattern, I find it hard to imagine this is all done by hand, and that they'd have 90 pieces that look identical. But I could be wrong. I don't know. If anybody knows, tell me. But see how perfect. And they're all, I mean, maybe it's just once you're good at it, you can do it over and over. But look at how perfect all these little... I mean, that one's not quite perfect. Maybe they're all done by hand. It's hard to believe. Maybe they are. Maybe it's just they've gotten so good at it, they can just go... I have no idea. And I actually haven't seen any of these kind of pieces. I think because these are Navajo. I haven't seen them in any of the books I have here. I think the pieces my uncle mostly collected were from this Pueblo pottery. Okay, hold on, let's see. Here are the families from Pueblo. The 7 families. Isn't that interesting? And I think now they're saying 14. This is an older book from the 70s. And they actually go over like who the parents are, or great-grandparents, I guess you could say, and then the family line. And there's a wedding pot, we learned. There's another wedding pot. Okay, Numpeo. This family right here, Numpeo. Hold on. Let me find. Okay. Okay. Numpeo and Lasso, I don't know. But they had kids. And one of their kids is Fanny Palaka Numpeo. And one of her kids is Thomas, or Tom Palaka. And Tom Palaka was a potter that my uncle got very interested in and really followed his work and collected his work. And we actually went out to the reservation and visited him and met with him. So I became interested. And unfortunately, he auctioned off all of his pieces, I think. So I kind of would have liked to have had one, but that's okay. However, these pieces I'm going to show you here that my sons, when I showed them some stuff to kind of pick from, they picked these. So my one son picked this one because he liked the bear on there. And it is so cool. Look at the bear. What is this? Oh, that's his hand. That's his paw. So the bear, it's a man wearing a bear mask and a bear paws, like a bear costume, and dancing, or I guess dancing around. And then here's another bear with a what's the name for those? Not a rattle, oh my gosh, I can't think of the word. I don't know. Anyway, and then he's got moccasins on and a bear tail. And then there's this guy. So this piece of pottery is signed Marty and Elvira Numpeo, 1999. And it is very much like Tom Palaka's pots that I remember. So I really like this one. I'm glad my son picked that one. And so here is Tom. Oh, this book isn't new enough. Hold on, somewhere. Because I'm pretty sure that Elvira is Tom Palaka's daughter. Let's see if she's in this book. Let's see if there's a table of contents here. I think her name's Numpeo, isn't that what I said? Elvira, page 50. Let's see what they say here. Right, so here's Fanny Palaka and Tom Palaka. And Tom's children are Gary Palaka, Carla Claw, and Elvira. And this Elvira Palaka married, I guess, Marty or something. I don't know how the names, because maybe they do last names different, because it is the Numpeo family. But anyway, so that's kind of cool. So that is her, Elvira. This is the 14 families. Let's see if we can find novice family. Nope. I have so many baskets and things to show you. Oh, and masks. I have some masks. What the heck? Where's the Numpeo family? Gutierrez. Nope. But if I had known that there were just 14 families and that, like, generation after generation, they were potters, I had forgotten that. I think I did know that at one time. But it wasn't until I started looking at these books, I was like, oh yeah, I think I do remember that. So he kind of followed the one family, I guess. What the heck? I know they're in here. I guess I could look it up. What? There's no table of content. Or not table. No index. Well, we're just gonna have to find it. Lewis Navarro or Navas or something like that. Oh, here we go. There's Nampeyo, so we've got to be in the right area here. Look, see how similar that is? See how it's cut out? Gary Palaka. Okay. We're in the right area here. Where's their family? Here it is. Okay. So you can see the difference in the style of pottery. Like, see how these are smooth? They're all smooth, but I think all of this pottery is made with coil as opposed to on a wheel. They'd make coil after coil after coil and build it up, and then you use like a stone or your hand to smooth it. And then these ones, they make it thick enough so they can carve the images into it. So it has a real texture to it. That's pretty cool. Okay, let's look here. Hold on. So this is the family. I think this is a little newer. So here's Nampeyo, and here's Fanny, Nellie, William, and Annie. I think we were with Fanny, right? And it's funny because in that other book, didn't they show like Tom was the oldest? But in this one, it looks like Elva, Lee, Harold, Tonita, Tom, Ellsworth, and Iris. Oh, Tom's down here. Okay. So then we have Tom has these kids. And there's Gary, Fanny, Delmar, Carla Claw, and Elvira, who was with Marty. So this pot here is Elvira and Marty. But I know my uncle, I think he collected Delmar too. I think I remember that name. All right, let's see then. What is this one? Because my other son chose this one. And if memory serves, I think this is called cocoa pie. Is that right? I think that's right. And so he's like, looks like playing an instrument and dancing. And he is here too. So that's a very Southwest imagery right there. And this son is going out to Arizona to visit his friend at ASU in the coming weeks, which I think is fun because he's going to see a lot of this kind of stuff. And I think that'll be interesting, But this pot is made by a person named Elson Secletstowa. What? How do I say that? Secletstowa. I don't know. I'm sure I'm saying that wrong. But, and what was the first name? Elson. Now, I kind of looked this up before, so let's see what I wrote. Oops. 1900 to 2000 hand coiled. I didn't have a whole lot of information. Well, let's just see if we see someone named Elson right here, because I'm sure he's from the same family, just because the style of pottery is so similar. It's got the carving in it. Let's see if we see anyone named Elson here. Miriam, Robert, Mary. I gotta pull this book, it's so big. Is there an Elson? Wait, let me look at all Tom Palaka's brothers. Ellsworth. Lee Alva. Lynette Edgar. Clara. Eleanor Emerson. Whiskey. No, I don't see. I'm sure it's probably somehow it's a person who's related. I just don't. there's no index in here, which is odd. So you can't look people up by name. What was that? Oh, it was a very long S name, wasn't it? Martinez. I don't know. All right, what else do I have here? Arizona Highway is from 1986. See how this one's cut out? That's from that family for sure. And these are kind of like a kachina, but not quite. I do like the way there's like a pueblo inside. It's like carved out of wood. I don't know what you call those. Let's see if they tell us anything. In harmony with nature. Crowman kachina, right there. That's a good kachina. See how it's standing on one foot? That's a good kachina. That's harder to do, I think. Grace Medicine Flower, a prolific potter from Santa Clara Pueblo, New Mexico, draws heavily from nature for her motifs. These are beautiful. Oh my gosh. I've never seen one like that. Oh, look at with the bunny rabbit and the butterflies. I love that. Ooh, I do like it. Huh. Ooh, look at that. That's cool. See, that's painted on there, I think. Well, it could be carved. I don't know. There she is working on it. So, there you go. She's doing it all by hand. Apologies to this person. I think they did it all by hand. It just looks impossible, but I guess not if you know what you're doing. Look, this one's, they show it being carved out of this one block of wood to make that. I mean, it's really, look, it's really amazing. It's funny because when you see finished art, you're like, oh yeah, that's nice. But when you see an artist actually creating something like from a full block of wood, carving it, doing all the detail, it's like, then you really appreciate it. This one's metal. They put it in here in the cast. Rugs. Jewelry. Oh yeah, look. These look like the Tom Polacco ones. They look like this, right? Yeah, very similar. What does it say? Look, here they are building a coil pot. See, they just make circles, not just, but excuse me, and then smooth it, and then you do the carving. Oh, this is Dextra Quote. I don't know how to say it. Quotscuiava is the great granddaughter of Nampeo and a second cousin of Tom Polacca. Oh, look, here he is. There's Tom. Hopi potter Tom Polacca has developed a unique style of pottery art, photographed in multiple exposure. Eagle Boy below stands 7 1/4 inches high. The vessel is built up by coil method, then scraped smooth, and figures are carved on its surface. The scene here depicts the Hopi legend of the boy transformed into an eagle. Oh, wow. Yeah, look at that. That's cool. The self-taught Polacca is the grandson of Nampeo, who is credited with reviving ancient Sikyotki, I don't know, polychrome pottery style. Yeah, you can see him being transformed, and then there he is, like, full eagle. That's why you save this magazine, I guess, to show that. It's kind of sad, you can't ask questions anymore. I tried to ask a lot of questions when he was alive, but I should have written stuff down because I don't have that great of a memory. The Herd Museum, that used to be really nice. I haven't been back to Arizona since the 90s, but used to go there, and they would have sometimes like Native American artist shows there that my uncle would always come out when that was happening. We'd go. But they also just had a really nice museum. Museum of Northern Arizona, the Hopi Cultural Center. I think this is where we went. We went to a few, oh gosh, I can't think of the word for them. Like ceremonial, where they dance and everything. I can't think of the word. Oh my gosh. Anyway, whatever. I feel like we went to that. Yeah. Cocochino Center for the Arts. Hubble Trading Post. Yeah. Oh, look at that. You made one out of like metal. Nice bunch of old rugs. See why I feel like this kind of has a look like. And all these rugs, I have kind of forgotten now, but they have different meanings, I think, depending on the patterns. But it's been a long time, I don't remember exactly. So anyway, that is that. So I hope you enjoyed that. Just something to look at. This one's really cool. I think this is